Hey guys, so I wanted to run something by you, and it was kind of personal. I had a conversation with some friends of mine the other day. They're younger, they're my younger by like 10 years friends, and they're an awesome couple. Super sweet, little baby, one on the way type of thing. And it's fun to learn from like different generations. And so they asked a question, and I was like, it made me think. So what they said to us was my husband and I went over and we were just hanging out. They were like, hey, what did you guys do for your goal planning? And I was like, well, what do you mean with like goal planning? And I started going into business, right? Because that's where my head goes. And they're like, no, what about like your marriage goals or your personal goals? And I'm like, well, I set personal goals, and I set my intentions, and I put everything down and write it down for myself, and then I write it down for business, and roll it out with the company. And they were like, well, what about your marriage goals? And it was like, I looked at my husband, he looked at me, and he's like, I want to get more fit. And I was like, they were like, no, that's a personal goal. And I'm like, I don't think that we did that. So it's not something that as I thought about it, it's not something or even a conversation that my parents ever had with me. My parents are in like their 60s now, close to 70, mid 60s, close to 70. So it wasn't something that they had ever talked about with me. And although I'm a firm believer in business and planning goals, it's not something that we sat down and did together or something that I do with the companies. But marriage goals. So that made me think this is something that we should be doing as a couple. Like, where do we want to be in the next year? What does it look like? And we have an idea of what our 5-year, 10-year plan is. We have our savings and we're savvy that way. But I never thought about putting down marriage goals. So is it something that you've done? Do you set those intentions with your husband? It seems like a really great way to connect on a deeper level. And I'm kind of excited for it. So I'm going to pitch it to him that we sit down and do this. I think that late is better than never. But I'm kind of excited about it because I started thinking, what are some of those goals? What could they possibly be? What does it look like for the year? And we're super kind of spontaneous people. So if we decide, hey, we're going to go visit my brother, we book flights and we go visit my brother. Or, hey, we want to do some home renovations. We're at the store 10 minutes later planning out the project. So very spontaneous. We just are like, let's go with it. Let's enjoy life. But this whole planning thing for couples, for a marriage, I think that that's pretty huge. And even just having those conversations, although we know in our minds, that's what we want. Did your parents have those conversations with you? Was it something that, that you started doing with your husband? Who shared that with you? I'm dying to know, if you feel comfortable, share some of those goals with me. Just so I have something to think about, for when we sit down and do this, because we are so new to it. So I'm excited. Tell me everything that you feel comfortable sharing. And if you even go through this process, or now that you're hearing it, is it something that you may be interested in doing? All right. Tell me all.